Guys are out here saying not all men. We know not all men. We're talking about all women. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about your mother. It's about your daughter. It's about your sister. It's about your cousin. It's about your coworker. Every last one of us, all of us. When is that going to bother you? When are you going to say, wow, that's way too many? And stand up for us. We know not all men. But when you say not all men, boy, it sure seems like you're part of the men we're talking about. You sure seem like part of the problem, don't you? Just shut up if you have nothing to contribute.
Yeah, guys, so if you disagree, you're the evil man, right? You're the criminal. I love how we've gotten to a point in society where if you disagree with what someone says, they consider you a perpetrator. Isn't that just absolutely crazy, you know? Because girls like this will sit on here and scream about how men should take their side, and if you don't take their side, then you're as good as the people that she's talking about. Right? It's very interesting, right? If you're not with us, you're against us. This whole room for disagreement, guys, it seems to be out of the window, and you're basically convicted as soon as you're accused these days, which is very interesting. But what is going on, gentlemen? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we got a bunch of clips to go through as well as a bunch of stories. But before we crack into it, gentlemen, you already know the drill. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe on your way in if you're liking the videos, and come and join the locals and the Discord links in the description. Both of those are totally free to join, guys. And if anything happens to the channel, you will be notified through those two things. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of clips today, gentlemen. They're going to make you want to pull your hair out. So just a fair warning. Also, before we crack into the rest of the video, guys, we are also running an art competition. It ends on September 30th, 2021. There's cash prizes and honorable mentions for people who come 4th to 10th if you so wish. But I've also expanded the rules to allow you guys to submit more kinds of art because I was getting a bunch of different submissions. So I thought I'd kind of expand the rules for people who do all sorts of different stuff. So make sure you check that out. Link is in the description. Now, I've got to be kind of careful about the videos that I pull up here, guys, as we continue with the story. So we're going to take it one at a time.
Just shut up if you have nothing to contribute.
Is marriage to a man who earns less than you worth it? No. Okay? Your quality of life is going to decrease. The status that you get from being married to a man who can't work harder than you is not going to be worth it.
And, you know, that's a really sad thing. All right? So a lot of girls, what they're doing is rather than, you know, weighing marriage up, oh, well, do I love this person? Could I see myself with them long term? Can we raise a family? Are they a good man? Right? Those are not the things that are being considered. You know, what happened to the question of, is he a good man? Right, that seems to have gone way out the window when people in 2021 are getting married and just basically looking at their quality of life. Okay, and here's the thing as well. Even if these girls get married, they can decide to leave at any time and take your money anyway. Right, so what it's done is it's essentially turned marriage into a pragmatic financial decision for women, and it's turned it into a financial risk for men. Which, I don't know, I think that's pretty disgusting, right? Because when you want to talk about the current dating market, guys, it's basically like people are doing everything that they can. Society is doing everything that they can to kind of remove love from the picture. It's about how much money does he make, you know, how attractive is he, all these kinds of things. And all these girls think that they're entitled to a guy that earns over 6 figures, right? And a lot of them are, quite frankly, not worth that. But I'm going to see what other clips we've got here. Like I said, guys, I'm going to have to skim through and kind of be careful about which ones I pull up here today. And this one might be a bit loud, so just a fair warning.
This is just a reminder for men that scientists have now discovered a way for women to impregnate themselves using their own bone marrow. And the only child that can result from those pregnancies are female. So we no longer have any need for you, genetically or physically. So, you know, tread lightly.
I love those girls who will sit there and they'll say, oh, we don't need no man, right? And and those are the exact same girls that'll be crying themselves to sleep at 2 a.m. in the morning because the guy didn't want to have anything to do with them. Some of the stuff you'll see on TikTok, right, is you'll frequently see videos where girls are crying, right? Because what they've done is they've thought that maybe he'll be open to a relationship, you know, maybe Chad will commit to me and maybe he'll settle down and we can have a cute little relationship together. And they figure out real damn quick after they ask that he had no interest in them at all, and they cry themselves to sleep, man. Those are the exact same girls that make videos like that.
Boys are like dessert. You want it, but you don't need it.
Huge amounts of cringe there, guys. Just absolutely palpable amounts of cringe.
Did not exist. I would go to the store like this, but men still do exist, so I'll go like this.
Not all men.
Yes, we know.
You know, look, I've got to be very kind because YouTube guidelines here, okay? But this lady's complaining about the fact that if she were to wear this, all the men would be all over her if she went out in public. Now, I'm going to let you gentlemen decide whether or not you agree with that statement. But, you know, not necessarily is my is my answer to that one. Goodness gracious. Now I'm just sorting out what videos we got next, guys. Let's have a look at this one.
You said that he did you dirty, so what's the harm in flirting, baby? Cause your boyfriend's a bitch.
Yeah, so if you're a guy, right, and your girlfriend has a OF account, right, she's selling pictures of herself online and taking money from dudes who want to see her, you know, naked, right? Then that makes you a coward if you don't want that, right? We're literally at a point in society now where if you do not accept the rules, okay, you don't want your girlfriend going out and doing these things, you're insecure, right? You're just the B word, yeah. And that's just so funny because a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll actually go along with that and say, you know what? Oh, well, I guess I am insecure. If I was a real man, I'd let my my girlfriend take pictures of herself online and do all that kind of stuff. Right? Men are being quite literally shamed into stupid decisions, and I find it quite embarrassing, to be honest. Like any guy who you know has that kind of behavior coming out of his girl, man, I don't know. I find that just straight up embarrassing. For him, to be honest. But guys, I'm just going to see what other videos we got here before we crack into today's stories. And I think this is actually a good one. So we might wrap it up, the videos, on this one right here with our favorite phrase, excuse me, happy wife, happy life. We all know that that's just huge amounts of BS.
Happy wife, happy life is so misunderstood. Women are reciprocal. Make her happy and she's going to make you happier.
Right off the bat, can we get a show of hands in the comments? Who the hell believes that? Okay, goodness gracious me. Women are not reciprocal. Okay, men are not necessarily reciprocal, right? You know, we have this tendency to be reciprocal, right, as humans, but that does not mean we are reciprocal. In a relationship, there is no such thing as equality, guys. There is going to be someone who cares more about one person, you know, the other, than the other way around, okay? Now, I think personally that it should be, you know, the girl caring more about the man, because you will... girls who are in relationships with guys that they do not respect are not only treating the guy like trash, but they themselves are often incredibly unhappy. So it's a lose-lose when men don't lead the relationships, right? You'll see girls cry over and over, oh, I just wish he would do this for me, I wish he would do that for me. And then the moment he does those things, the guy becomes significantly less interesting to her. Right? So these girls will complain like they want to be the ones leading the relationships, but when they are leading the relationships, there's no more unhappy relationships than that. Like, that is the most unhappy demographic of relationship, is the one where the women are leading it. Right? And that's why you'll hear these stories, right? I'm going to switch screens for a moment here. That's why you hear those stories, right, of girls, they feel trapped in their marriage, right? Oh, they feel so trapped because they hate leading, right? But they can't leave because he's got the money. You see? Oh, I'm so trapped. I feel so trapped. And the other way you hear trapped is obviously in the situation of Chad, where she doesn't want to leave even though he doesn't want her at all, because, you know, she just wants to be the one to tame him, as it were.
It wasn't intended to mean sacrifice your happiness to accommodate hers.
Yeah, what the hell do you think it means then? Happy wife, happy life. Like, how are you supposed to... Let's just say you got a wife, okay, and she wants you to do all of these chores and do, you know, be attentive to her emotional needs and do X, Y, Z, okay? You have to sacrifice your happiness to do those things. Because you're sacrificing the opportunity to do other things. Rather than sit there and try and make her happy and talk about her problems all day, you know, maybe you want to go motorbike riding or something, or whatever your hobby happens to be. Right, there is sacrifice in making other people happy and doing things for other people. Like, this is just, it's the fact that this makes such little sense, right? And people just wholeheartedly agree with it makes no sense to me.
Wifey's gonna treat you how you treat her.
No, Explain to me then why you've got all these men in relationships and marriages doing everything that they can to hold the marriage together, to hold the relationship together. Guys, I'm sure, right, if you're a man who's been dating, you've been in a situation where you would do absolutely anything for the girl. You know, you tried to do everything to care, to show her that you care and show her what a great guy you were. And you know what? It wasn't enough, right? That's because when you're a guy and you're trying to give the girl the world, that is exactly the problem. And this whole idea that it's reciprocal is absolute BS. A lot of times, the more effort that you put into someone, the more they realize that, hey, I can just walk away. Right? The more they treat you like trash. They might reciprocate it a bit at first, you know what I mean? But if you continually put in way more effort than she puts into you, she's going to view you as kind of like a little pet, right? Just a thing that's wrapped around her finger. She's going to go, oh, okay, well, on to the next thing. And guys, I think that might be the end of the videos there. Let me just quickly check. But goodness me, that was just some crazy amounts of BS in the videos we just covered. Now, guys, I've got a few stories pulled up here as they pertain to some of the topics that we just covered. And this one is titled, "Why do so many women still want to get married?" Okay, now we already know, like, if you're a guy on this side of the internet, you already know that marriages are a risk for men. Okay, men have literally no upside to a marriage. There used to be a time, okay, where when you got married, that was it. But now, women are able to leave marriages whenever they want under the guise of, you know, being in terrible relationships. And the moment that they changed that law, guys, everything went to hell. Goodness gracious. But let's crack into this story right here. I know this may sound like an odd question, but this is something that has confused me since childhood. Statistically, about 50% of marriages end in divorce. You can assume that the other 50% are happily married, but you'd be so wrong. Within the couples that stay married, you should know that most of them are most likely unhappily married. People stay married for kids, societal expectations, money, ease of bedroom fun, fear of dangerous situations, etc. In the percent of successful marriages, they include the battered women and those A-worded in many other ways beyond the physical. Successful marriages also include those where where one or both of the spouses are secretly cheating. A successful marriage can also be staying together for the kids. When I bring this up, I'm usually laughed at for being too cynical, but it's true though. Why are we feeding into the delusion that half of marriages are happy? ? And you know what? I don't think that's a cynical take at all. I think that's fairly accurate, right? You got all the quote-unquote successful marriages. People are out here. Infidelity rates in marriages are so damn high. Are just so through the roof, man. So relationships are in a very poor position. But let's have a look at the title once more, okay? Why do so many women still want to get married? Because marriage benefits women. It does not benefit men. It benefits men a little bit in that you get kind of like a social status out of it, right? Because you've got a wife, other girls want to get at you. But that's pretty much the extent to where the benefits end for men. Okay, like you have to risk all your assets, you have to risk the kids, you have to be tied down to a single person, you have to pay for the ring, you have to pay for the marriage, you have to pay for the wedding, right? You technically become financially responsible for her, and you lose a lot of your rights because you're not just signing a contract with the woman, remember guys. You're signing a contract with the government. Right? It's not just the love of your life and you think that you're being bonded together for the rest of your life. And here's the thing, that whole till death do us part, yeah, that's not really what it's about anymore. So let's continue here. We only live once. So to me it sounds insane to force a relationship to span decades through therapy and emotional labor if you all drift apart. I feel most people do drift apart or grow to want different things in life. I've always can we just appreciate the fact, right, that they continuously call it different things, like they want different things in life, as if it's not anything other than wanting to see a different dude. Right, like why do we call it? Man, the fact that they use such ambiguous language as if people don't, because you get all these guys out here who genuinely are kind of clueless about this stuff, and they go, oh yeah, maybe she just wants something different in life, and they don't understand what the language actually means is just to go out and see other dudes, and that's really kind of sad. I've always feared being in a marriage and wanting out, but having to go through a whole expensive legal process to leave, and he could take my earnings as well. The reason why that's so funny, okay, and the reason why I laugh at that sentence right there is because women are not the ones having their resources taken as a consequence of marriage. It is a very, very small percentage of marriages that result in that on the women's end, okay? Most of the financial losses in marriage, men are being taken from. It's not the women that are being taken from. And you know the reason for that, guys, is because women do not date men who are poorer. Generally speaking, women on average prefer a man to earn more than them, and that's the way that it is. And if you think that men are the selectors of, you know, this kind of stuff, you'd be absolutely incorrect. Women are out here choosing their relationships, and they choose richer men to marry. That is why when you ask a girl, like let's just say you want to sit down and you want to ask a girl, oh hey, what kind of man will you, when you want to get married, when you want to settle down, what do you look for in a good man? Right? And you'll get the 28-plus-year-olds going, oh, well, I just want a man with integrity. You know, I want a well-established, I just want a stable guy, a good man. What that means is he needs to be financially stable, right? Marriage is a financial decision for women. So the fact that she, guys, women are not the ones being having all of their money taken in divorce. I grew up poor and found that building your own career and source of income would always make more sense than relying on a man's income or trying to help a man's career take off. Too many variables can lead to failure in that situation because men on average aren't very good with money or even educated compared to women. They are good in business settings because they tend to have a more blind confidence than most women, but I find it uneasy banking my whole or partial financial future on a man's blind confidence. Hey, you'd be surprised how many women out here are banking their future on men. Okay, you want to talk about OF for a second here, right? A lot of girls are relying on men for, you know, to go to pay for their rent each week. Okay, but hey, you know, you got all these girls out here. What you've got to understand, gentlemen, is you want to talk about marriage, you want to talk about long-term relationships. What girls are actually doing, and this is something I said in another video, is they're placing bets on men. Okay, financial bets a lot of the time. Is this guy going to be successful? That is why when girls want to get married, they'll list off all the attributes of a successful guy. Right? Because it's about security, it's about stability and that sort of thing. Honestly, I don't plan to have kids and can't imagine the details for that, so I can see that as a good argument to get married. However, I still see high-earning, independent women and women who aren't planning to have kids getting married. Is it mostly societal, religious, parental expectations? Is it housing? Did Disney really do a number on us? I feel like I'm missing something. Even if your parents need to see you get married, isn't it selfish to ask if you break down the realities of what marriage really is? It's not like they don't already know. Wouldn't parents that love their children be understanding? You know what's funny, right? You'll get these girls who will get into their 30s, their 40s, and 50s, and here's the thing. Men are considered failures in the dating market if they cannot have bedroom fun. That's just the way it is, right? You already heard the I cell word that's thrown around a lot on this side of the internet, guys. If you have any sort of opinion that is not necessarily mainstream insofar as into S3 actual dynamics, you know, if you've got any sort of opinion on men and women that isn't mainstream, you will be shamed and called that word, right? Because the implication, what they'll say to you is, oh, you're saying these things because obviously you don't get ladies. Like that's the thing that's thrown at you here. Men are considered failures when they can't go out and have bedroom fun. Women are considered failures when all they get is bedroom fun and they can't secure a relationship. That is why you see all these girls out here, man, who are 40 and 50 and they're not married, right? I look at them and I'm like, what were you doing this entire time? You know, and we already know the answer to that, right? But anyway. Maybe I think about numbers too much, or I'm very cynical because my parents hated each other but would not divorce. But I really wanted to hear your point of view on this because since I was a kid, I've been made to feel like I'm living in the twilight zone. Also, I understand some countries and societies require women to marry to have access to some basic rights and not be ostracized by society. I'm asking about women from societies that have the ability to earn income and live independently. Hey, you know, that's totally fine. You want to earn your income, you want to live independently, that's totally cool. Go out and do that, but just don't come around crying, right, when you can't find a man, because that's not the things that men are interested in. Men do not care about your career. They do not care about your income. Okay, and these women will treat those things as if they're an asset that men care about. Like, I can't speak for all men, gentlemen, but that's certainly something that I'm incredibly indifferent about. I couldn't care less about it, to be honest. But to answer the original question of the article, why do so many women still want to get married? Because it's stability for them. It's life insurance for them. Because they know if I get married to a guy who's at least semi-well off, then hey, maybe I don't have to work, you know, the rest of my life in my coffee barista job. So that's what I'm going to do there. Okay, people want to pretend as though marriage is not just an intelligent. It's a business decision. It's a business decision for women, is what it is at the end of the day. But gentlemen, we're going to crack into another story here. And we got a couple more to wrap off today's show. So don't forget to leave your comments below, gentlemen. If you disagree with anything I've said, guys, feel free to do so. That is what the comment box is for. But we're going to jump into this next story here. And this one is titled, he's 27-year-old dude, girlfriend who is 27, has cheated on me last week. So it starts off. Hi guys, I want to get it off my chest as obviously it troubles me. The situation took place last week on Saturday. I went to an office party at the evening where she did go to her old friend. They had some drinks, then decided to go clubbing. I have returned home at 1 a.m. where she was home at 6 a.m. Red flag number 1. She usually goes to bed at around 10 p.m. Immediately after we talked a bit, I noticed something off in her behavior. Her attitude towards me became very neutral, some might say emotionless. I also noticed that she started texting someone on her phone more recently, as well as hiding the phone a bit. Very subtle, I did notice it nonetheless. Man, the old friend, right? Man, this whole argument of whether or not men and women can be friends, the answer is no. Okay, there's a few exceptions to that, but they're incredibly rare, right? But and the exceptions that I'm talking about, guys, like if you've been friends with someone since childhood and you're genuinely not attracted to her, you can be friends that way. Okay, but even then, right? The thing is, in a relationship, if a girl has guy friends, it is a huge red flag. It is just a huge red flag. Men and women, for the most part, just cannot be friends like that. So when she says she's going to see an old friend, what she really means is a guy that she used to have a thing with, or there was potential for it there, and that's what it is. Let's continue. Fast forward to yesterday, she went to visit her parents and attend the birthday party of her friend. Meanwhile, my gut was telling me something is off and I was feeling a bit anxious. I decided to snoop her recent messages on her computer. I know that's a scumbag behavior. Nevertheless, I do not regret it. I discovered that they first meet at the club, had bedroom fun that night as well. She started talking about having butterflies in her stomach, realized our current relationship is not what she imagined it would look like. Over the course of the week, they talked a bit. He has invited her to his city. She did not say to my face that she doesn't want the relationship or that she doesn't like something. All that time she confirmed that we are okay. By the way, she lives with me. Gentlemen, it absolutely amazes me, okay? And this is why, look, if you're in a relationship like this, okay, and you're questioning certain things, oh, is my girl cheating on me? Is she doing stuff? Trust your gut, okay? Because people who are cheating, people who are up to no good, a lot of them can straight up lie to your face. Like you as a person, right? I think a lot of men who, and this is just my opinion here, guys, I think a lot of men who are in these sorts of situations are good guys, right? They want to show the girl that they care, they want to be there for her, they want to do the correct thing, and oftentimes they are what I would consider to be moral men, okay? And a lot of time, good guys, moral guys, guys who are not necessarily as cynical as myself on this show, they find it hard to believe that other people can be evil, for lack of a better word. Right, we got a lot of fantastic guys running out here, not understanding that not everyone is as good as they are. Okay, so you might go into a relationship, you might have fantastic intentions, you might want to show her the world, be an absolutely great boyfriend for her. But you've got to understand, guys, that there are dangers that come with that. Okay, and being naive is one of them, because not everyone is necessarily as good as you are. Okay, if you're a good guy, that is. If you're a psycho watching, then that doesn't apply to you. But for the most part, I think that most men are good men. So, and that's really sad to see, right? Because this part, she just lies straight to his face, and a lot of guys don't realize that people can do that, and that's something you should watch out for. But let's continue. I know this is the end of the relationship. The trust cannot be reclaimed. She's going to return from her parents in the evening. I plan first to say that I am bothered with her last Saturday night. If that does not work, I have printed a fake train ticket to this guy's city. She said she is going to visit him sometime in the future. I am going to hand it over and see what she has to say. Thanks for listening. It feels better to get this off my chest. Any suggests are welcome. Update. Oh, we have an update. The breakup went smoother than I expected. I dropped the idea with the ticket. It was indeed a stupid one. Yes, it was. Once she got home, I immediately asked if she has anything to say to me, to which she said no. Then I told her that this guy has messaged me about what happened. She wasn't really surprised. Must have had her own guesses based on my mood during the week. Didn't seem like she regretted what she had done. Anyway, she got out and went to crash at her friend's place, I guess. Tomorrow she's going to come back for her stuff and leave. Thank you for your input and reading all of this. I hope that you never get to experience something alike in your life. It's been a rough day. It's time to start the healing process. Well, I'm glad that this guy booted her out and didn't continue it. All right, this is always the concern with a story like this, gentlemen, and if you find yourself in a similar situation, the concern is always that you keep it going. Just cut it off immediately, go no contact, and just, cease talking to the person. Okay, but we got one more story, and this is what we're going to be wrapping up today's episode on, guys. So don't forget to leave your comments as we're going through, and let's continue on to the next one. This is titled, Wife of 7.5 years now wants an open relationship and a break. We are in our 20s and live in Australia. Right. Hi fam, this is a pretty detailed one and I'm really trying my best to summarize it, but I'm half crying and half about to snap the phone in half. I hope that someone who's been through the same situation can help provide advice or share their experience. I'm concerned about the next steps to take with this because I feel that what to do in the next couple of weeks will set me up for either a stable relationship or a nasty divorce. Background. And we're going to speed through, gentlemen, here because I don't want to take too much of your time. We're going to wrap up the show shortly. Basically, my wife, who's been with me for 7.5 years, has decided to tell me that she's been out of love with me for the past 5 years. This recent stuff has pushed our family friends to separate, and her best friend now comes over every weekend. This weekend, I told her how I really feel about her best friend coming over every weekend, and today she said that we need to talk. So we had a chat, and basically she told me that she is done trying. She went on to say that she is not in love with me. She has been out of love with me since I moved in with her from my parents' place 5 years ago when my parents moved interstate. I had a guy come on the, comment the other day, and he's like, Taylor, how come you don't give advice on how to cohabitate? Here's my advice on cohabitating. Don't. Okay? Just don't. Let's keep going. She went to say that she doesn't want to lose everything we worked for. We built our home, have a family car, we both researched it, then bought, and a beautiful daughter about to turn 2, who we both love dearly. We're going to come back to this. I asked her why did she allow herself to progress through each stage and even have a baby with me if she wasn't in love with me. She then said she did love me at the time, which I feel is a strange thing to say, given her previous answer. She has then gone on to tell me that she is a unicorn, wants an open relationship with other guys, and for us to live in the same house as roommates. Yeah, so basically she gets all the benefits of you being there. Right, all the benefits, the resources, the stability, and all that kind of stuff, but she gets to go out and see other dudes. Absolutely fantastic, right? I asked why she'd blah, blah, blah. Now, fast forward 1 hour later, back and forth. We've agreed to time apart as this hasn't, whatever. And blah, blah, blah. Now, since I have nowhere to go, I'm staying in our spare room. No, you do not stay in the spare room. She gets kicked to the spare room. You do not stay in the spare room. I feel that the things she has told me today are a reflection of how she's been feeling in the past 12 months or so, and not how she has felt in the past 5 years. I also believe that her friend's recent breakup and return to dating scene has equally played a role. I feel that we are on the verge of a divorce which can turn messy given that we built the house together, we put money into the car, and not to forget about the amount of time and love invested into our daughter. Furthermore, her support structure is 5 minutes away, whereas mine is the next state, as all I have now are the in-laws. I've bitten the bullets and apologized profusely. You have no business apologizing. Show her how much I've been working on the relationship. I really want to fix this, but I do not know how. I want to know what it is I can do to save what is left and build from there to show her that I care, show her that I really love her. These are the stories, man. This is why this channel exists, to be quite honest with you. Or at least this is one of the very big reasons why it does, okay? This is exactly what we talk about on the show. This right here. Right? Why is this man apologizing? Why is he sleeping on the couch? Why is he trying to make changes for the relationship when she is the one screwing it up? That is absolutely beyond me. And one final point here, guys, that I wanted to bring up here is, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can. Okay, but this whole situation is just, it's really sad. Okay, is what it is. It's just incredibly sad. The fact that she is done trying. Right, here's what girls will do. They'll try and secure a guy who's incredibly, who's stable, who help them build their life together, right? He's the guy who's always going to be there for her, right? He's always there. He's such a fantastic guy. Any girl would be lucky to have him, right? You've heard that line before. And yet this is the same guy who loses everything and wastes years of his life trying to make someone happy who had no attraction to him. Okay, and that's just absolutely something else. But guys, we're going to leave today's episode there. A bit of a long one. Make sure you leave your thoughts and comments on your way out. Always interesting to see what you gentlemen have to say on the issues. And don't forget to come and join the Discord and the Locals links in the description. Guys, if you're interested in supporting the show, Locals has an option for that. And if anything happens to the show, you will be notified through Locals and through the Discord. But guys, we're going to call it there. As always, make sure to take care of yourselves. And I will see you boys in the next video. Peace.